Well, today's lesson is for all of you who are, writing emails regularly, who make official documents, and you deal with numbers while doing your work, right? So there are certain times we need to write numbers as in the numerical form, and there are certain times you need to spell them, right? But we do get confused as in when to write a numerical or when to spell out a number. Well, I have a few tips for you. Let's take a look. So first, let's see when to spell out numbers. Now, supposing you have a number that is less than 10, okay? So for example, if I say 2 people or 2 participants are attending the conference, okay? Or if I want to say 9 letters were sent out, okay? So if the number is less than 10, it is always better to spell out the number, okay? The next one is when you start a sentence with a number. Now, for example, in this sentence, I have written 15 children were at the concert. If you see, I have used the numerical form. But well, friends, remember, when you start a sentence with a number, it is always better to spell it out. So this is not the correct way. What you need to do is spell out a number when you start a sentence with a number. Okay, so this would be the correct way of writing. 15 children were at the concert. Okay, do remember these small things, because there are times probably you are sending out an email and you're in a hurry, so you do the shortcut and you write the numerical. Don't do that. Spell it out. So remember, when you start a sentence, spell out the number. Okay. Well, the next one is informal writing. Now I have a sentence here. Say for example, I'm writing an email and I'm sending 2 files attached, okay? So I'm going to say, please find attached the 2 files. Well, here it's a formal email, and like I said in my first rule, if it is less than 10, please spell it out. So even here if you have 15, but because it's an email, you are probably sending to your vendor, to your clients, or maybe to your managers, to your superiors, please follow the correct rule. Spell it out. Okay, the next one is 8 o'clock. Now supposing I'm confirming a meeting with you, okay, via email, and I say, okay, let's meet tomorrow at 8 o'clock at your office. When you have o'clock, right, the whole number, so 8 o'clock, of course you don't say 8:30 o'clock, but when you have 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, again you need to spell out. So this is incorrect. You always say, or you always write 8 o'clock. Okay, friends, remember this, or probably 4 o'clock. So remember this, when you have o'clock, you do not use a numerical form. You spell out the number 8 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, or whatever time you're mentioning with o'clock. Okay, so these are the basic rules you follow, and you need to spell out your numbers. Okay, so when you have a number less than 10, when you begin a sentence with a number, spell it out. When you are writing an official document or an email, for example like this, do spell it out. And well, when you have o'clock, you spell it out, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, etc. Okay, so these are the basic rules you follow, when to spell numbers out. Now let's take a look at when do we write numbers, okay? So first, if you see my example here, players 10, 15 and 45. Now example, say there is a match going on, and the players in jerseys have numbers, okay? They're called nominal numbers because they're identity. So I have a t-shirt or jersey which says player 10. It just has 10. That means my identity is I am player 10. So in such times, you have players with the number in the numerical form. You do not say player 10. No, because this becomes their identity, so you can write 10, the numerical form. Okay. Well, another example is you are sending out your official address to someone in an email, and you have your zip code mentioned there. So obviously in a zip code you have the numerical form of the number, you do not spell out. So you, for example, you say 423052, that's your zip code. So you're going to write it in the numerical form and not spell it out for a zip code. Okay. Well, the next one is 25%, 2/3, 5.5. So this means for fractions and percentage you can write the whole or the numerical form. Well friends, just a small advice, if you are sending an email, it is always nice to spell out percent. If you don't, it's alright, but like I said, it is a more formal way. Spell out percent. Okay, so you have 2/3, you have 5.5. So you don't have to write 2-3, you can write it in the numerical form. 5.5, you can write it in the numerical form. So when you have percents and fractions, please go ahead and use your numerical forms. Well, the next one is 5 feet 10 inches. Well, you can also write this as 5 feet 10 inches. Okay, I have just spelled it out, but you can write 5 feet 10 inches. So this means for measurements. Okay. So when you have measurements, you can go ahead and write the numerical form. And say for example in a recipe, if I want to say take 2 cups of sugar or take 1 tablespoon of oil, you can use the numerical form when you are talking about recipes in terms of measurement. Okay. Well, the next one, I have something time related over here. So you have 8 a.m., 4 p.m. Now when you have a.m. and p.m., you need not spell out the number, use the numerical form. Unless you are using o'clock, then you will spell out 8 o'clock like we just learnt here. But if you have AM and PM, you don't spell out the time, you use the numerical form. Okay, so remember this. Well, the next one is the club raised $100 for charity. Now we did learn that when you are writing formally, it is always better to spell it out, but you know, you often see this in newspapers, internet, magazines, tabloids, when they have the heading or they have an article and they want to highlight or they want to bring out a particular figure or a number, they always use the numerical form for 2 reasons. One is you save space, and second, it is easy for the readers to scan the information they need or to pick out the figures quickly. And that is when magazines, newspapers, tabloids, internet articles always prefer using the numerical form to save number and to make it or to highlight it easily or make it easier for readers to scan the information or the figures that they need. Okay friends, so these are the few times when you use numbers in the numerical form. So a quick recap: when you have players, because they are identities, they are nominal numbers, they could be zip codes, they could be someone's cell phone number. Next, for percent, fractions, you use the numerical form. You have for measurements 5 feet 10 inches, 2 cups, 3 kgs. Okay, you have AM, PM. So remember, when you are talking or when you are writing time in an email, and if you are using AM and PM, you will write the numerical number for the time. And the last one is, well, newspaper, internet articles, And magazines, for their headlines and articles, they prefer using the numerical form of the number because it saves space and it is easier for people to scan out the information or know exact figure what you're talking about, right? So well, this is how we use numbers in writing, spelling them out and writing them in the numerical form. Well, this brings me to the end of this lesson. I hope you enjoyed watching it. Go ahead and use your numbers in written English correctly. I'll be back soon with a new lesson. Till then, take care and bye.